So you just hold on for a few more minutes. That'd be great. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I can see quite a lot of people are still joining, so I think maybe if we hold on for 2 more minutes before we start. So, thank you very much to everyone who's already with us.
Welcome everybody to this side event of the 53rd session of the UN Statistical Commission, and thanks for joining us. I'm sure we'll have more participants joining us, but I would like to be respectful of everybody who's joined early already, and so we should start. I'm Francesca Perucci, Assistant Director at the UN Statistics Division, and I will moderate the panel today on achievements in SDG monitoring. In today's side events, we'll be hearing from a number of the countries that are involved in the project on SDG monitoring that is funded by the UK government and implemented by our statistics division in collaboration with the 20 countries in Asia and Africa. The speakers will be sharing their experiences in improving the availability and accessibility and use of SDG data, including through the development of data platforms, engagement with users, use of innovative data sources and methods, and using data visualization. I would like first to thank the UK Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office, FCDO, for funding this project since 2017, following a long history of collaboration with countries on improving development data and indicators, as they also supported a large project focused on MDG monitoring until 2015, on which we also collaborated with them. It's thanks to their continued support that our division has been able to provide in-depth, tailored technical assistance to the project countries, despite these last 2 years, the ongoing challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm also very glad that today we're joined by Ian Cody from FCDO's Data for Development team and project lead from FCDO. And he will be with us today and will moderate part of this discussion later. Let me just give you a little bit of sense of the agenda today. We'll have an overview of the objectives and the achievements to date of the project on SDG monitoring. We'll hear, as I said, country experiences from the project countries, from 4 project countries. And we'll have some highlights of the resources that have been created and shared by the project, designed to be of use to both the project and non-project countries. So they're made available to all countries that are interested. And then we'll have a Q&A session and discussion at the end of this. Let me remind you to please keep yourself muted. I think we all know the drill by now, but please remember, when you're not speaking, keep yourself muted. Keep the video off when you're not speaking so that we increase bandwidth. And now let me introduce the first speaker. The first speaker is Richard Tonkin. He's the lead of the project, the coordinator from our side in the statistics division. And he will give the overview of the project and highlight the achievements to date. Richard, over to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Francesca. So today, as Francesca mentions, I'm going to start off by giving an introduction to the project, in particular sharing some of its activities and achievements. I'm going to be very brief so that we have as much time as possible to hear directly from some of the countries who've been part of the project. So the project has actually been working with 20 countries from across Africa and Asia, which you can see highlighted on the map on this slide. And as Francesca's mentioned, FCDO have been an important partner of UNSD for a number of years now. This most recent project beginning in December 2017 and due to come to a close in July this year. So the overall aims of the project are to help improve the capacity of project countries to monitor progress towards the SDGs, to increase the availability of SDG indicators both at the national and the international levels, and to improve the coordination of national statistical systems around the work of producing the SDG indicators in countries. So, as you know, we've had some very challenging circumstances for over 2 years now, but the project countries have been very active during the pandemic, and as a result, we've seen some hugely impressive achievements. So nearly all of the project countries have launched national SDG data platforms, improving the accessibility of data for their users. The approaches have been taken for these platforms have varied across countries, using different technical and IT solutions according to national circumstances, but all focused on bringing national SDG data together in a platform which is accessible and user-friendly. In delivering this objective, we've worked with a number of different platform solution providers and other partners, including the UK ONS, the African Development Bank, ESTAT, the OECD, ESRI, and others, and we're very grateful for their support. Many of these platforms have subsequently been incorporated into voluntary national reviews, VNRs, the reports that countries bring to the high-level political forum on SDGs, which is held in New York each year, as well as also incorporating these platforms into national SDG progress reporting, which many countries have. In pulling together the data for these platforms, the countries have improved coordination and increased data sharing across national statistical systems, with the National Stats Office at the centre. The project has also had a strong focus on user engagement, stressing the importance of understanding who the different groups of users or potential users for SDG data are, such as policymakers, civil society, academia, the media, general public, and so on, as well as identifying the needs of these diverse groups and ensuring that these needs are reflected in the activities and priorities around SDG monitoring. So another big component of the project has been work on SDG metadata, supporting countries in compiling it according to international standards. And as I'm sure you all appreciate, having comprehensive metadata presented alongside the data is very important for users to understand what the indicators are and how they're measured. We're also supporting sharing of both data and metadata using the global SDMX standards between the countries, between UNSD and other international partners. And one way in which this has been used is the SDG Lab tool, which UNSD have developed and is available to both project and non-project countries. This tool, the SDG Lab, allows NSOs to directly compare their SDG data and metadata with that provided by the global custodian agencies, and to understand what differences may exist between the global and national data, and also understand the reasons behind them through the comparison of the metadata. Since the start of the pandemic, the project has also supported countries in their COVID-19 data responses in a number of different ways, including the establishment of COVID-19 data hubs, also work to improve data visualization, and we'll hear a bit more about that from Daniel later on today. Finally, we've just recently added 2 new areas of activities in this final year of the project. These are focused on piloting new approaches and activities in 2 priority areas with a small number of countries, with the ambition that we'll expand and build upon these with a wider group in the future. For the first of these, we're working with a small set of pilot countries to test and implement the SDG geospatial roadmap, which has been or will be provided to the Statistical Commission for adoption in a couple of weeks. This roadmap builds on the recommendations of the IAG SDGs Working Group on Geospatial Information through delivering practical guidance that seeks to build and strengthen the links between statistical and geospatial experts working on the SDGs in order to address data gaps. And the second of these priorities we're working to support countries in using new and existing sources, methods, and technologies to increase the availability, timeliness, and granularity of SDG data, guided by the approach of the Data for Now initiative. And we're kind of hear a little bit from colleagues in Bangladesh who've been kind of working under the kind of Data for Now initiative, including using SDG data later on today. So I think that's it from me. So I'll kind of pass back to Francesca to introduce our first country speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Richard. And now allow me to introduce the first speaker reporting on their experience in the country. Marta Shakise is a statistician at the Istituto Nacional de Estatística, INE, the National Statistical Institute in Mozambique, and she will talk about the work they've undertaken to establish their national SDG platform and how they're ensuring its sustainability. Marta, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to present the achievements in Mozambique SDG Monitor. Next. In the presentation, I will highlight the process of establishment of the National Data Fund, which includes data sharing in the National Statistical System, metadata compilation, sustainability of the outcome of the project, and lastly, data visualization. As you know, Mozambique is part of the 20 countries which implemented the United National Project on monitoring the progress of this SDG implementation. So the main objective of the project was to make the SDG indicator available to the widest possible public and to strengthen the capacity of select countries to compile and use those indicators. The project duration was 2 years, from 2019 to 2021, and Mozambique achieved the 3 intended results, namely data sharing on SDG indicator in the National Statistical System, establishment of the SDG indicator database platform, and the last compilation of metadata for SDG indicators. Regarding data sharing in National Statistical System, to make the SDG indicator available, the capacity to produce SDG indicators was assessed, and the first national indicator framework was established. This framework indicator has 147 indicators composed by 96 global and 51 national indicators, where 102 indicators are currently available and 45 not available. In addition, 31 focal points were indicated in 21 institutions of the National Statistical System to work on indicator availability. And nowadays, National Statistical System setters regularly send indicator data to the National Statistical Institute for globalization and dissemination. Related to platform establishment, here it's important to mention that Mozambique chosen the Open Data Platform, ODP, for national dissemination of data and metadata on the SDG indicator. The platform is accessible to all users and was officially launched by Honorable Minister of Economy and Finance in August 2021. The platform currently has 92 indicators with data, with 62 are global and 5 are national indicators. So now we can say that progressively more indicators will be added and the existing one updated. In addition, related to platform, consultative meetings and campaigns were held to disseminate data on the indicators of SDG available on the platform to ensure that the preparation of reports using those data and to involve a greater number of users. Next, regarding the metadata, we also have to say that the different sectors of the national statistical system combine the metadata of the indicator with available data. So now there are 110 metadata files were compiled for the 92 available indicators on the platform and uploaded to the statistical site with a link on the Open Data platform. Regarding the results, regarding the results for long-term sustainability of the project outcome, the National Statistical System Institute will continue to carry out the following activities. First, hold the regular meetings with SDG focal points to ensure the continuous availability of updated data. Second, every year, we updated the data provided by the sector, including the indicator provided by National Statistical Institute. Also, all the meeting with user to capture the level of satisfaction and the priorities arising from new demands related to SDG. In the last National Statistical Institute are going articulate with the Development Bank in order to decentralize the maintenance and the management of the platform to facilitate the inclusion of new indicators and permanent accessibility. Next, regarding results. Next, in terms of data visualization, there are 92 out of 100 available indicators in the National Indicator Framework accessible on platform, which is 90% of accessibility. The indicators accessible on the platform are currently linked to the 15 goals and the 61 target. So we're still in the process of production, the indicators related to SDG 12 and the SDG 15. So for more details related with our platform, you can access in this link where and found the indicators data available for each call and the targets. Thank you so much for your opportunity.
Thank you so much, Marta. That was very interesting and very impressive achievements. We now go to Rwanda. And Jean-Luc Hebera is the Data Portals Management Officer at the National Institute of Statistics of Rwanda. And Jean-Luc will present on the development of Rwanda's national data, SDG data and metadata, and also we'll talk about the important role played by partnerships to develop this. Jean-Luc, it's over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Francesca. You hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. And please, everybody else, keep your mic muted. Thank you. Over to you, Jean-Luc.
Thank you. Richard, can you put the slide, please?
I think just putting it up now.
Thank you. First of all, I would like to thank the UN Statistical Division and the sponsor of this project of SDG monitoring for organizing this side event and give us the opportunity to share with others what we are doing to make SDG data open and available to the widest possible audience. As a country, our objective is to improve the availability of national indicators by increasing the number of indicators available and making them more accessible through national data and metadata platform. Next, please. In this presentation, I'm going to talk a little bit about the SDG landscape in Rwanda, a lot of cooperation on SDG monitoring, use of national platform to monitor the progress of SDG, and then the national data and metadata development. Next, please. The assessment of SDG domestication shows that only 199 indicators are applicable to Rwanda. The administrative data has more indicators, and it has around 125 indicators, which is around 63% of all indicators. Only 74 indicators are from survey and census. Next, please. The outstanding current progress in SDG monitoring in Rwanda will not be possible without cooperation with our stakeholders. The progress we made on the Open SDG reporting platform and metadata was attributed from the cooperation spirit of ONS UK and UNST. Through this cooperation, ONS UK assisted NISR to develop a national open SDG platform used for reporting and dissemination. So in this spirit of partnership with ONS, we conducted regular meetings on management of the national reporting platform. We upgraded the platform to the latest version, which is now compatible with statistical data and metadata exchange technology. You know, data for SDG indicators need to be sourced, quality assured, updated regularly, and uploaded to the platform. So we developed an SDG quality assurance framework to monitor the progress and make the process clear by avoiding duplication of efforts and enabling collaboration on data acquisition. Next, please. In partnership with UNSD, we have been achieved more on SDG monitoring. We developed a strategy on SDG user engagement, and we conducted more virtual workshop on statistical data modeling. So the workshop made us understood how SDG dataset compiled, how national SDG indicators mapped to the data structure definitions. We also understood how DSD is customized based on national indicators. And we also understand how national data converted into STMX format. So as the achievement, we mapped national SDG indicators to DSD. We customized Rwanda DSD based on national indicators, and we converted national SDG data into STMX. Next, please. Since the initial launch of the Open SDG platform, capacity development activities from ONS UK and UNST2 NISR have been organized. Rwanda has managed to update the platform with all available SDG data. Currently, the progress of SDG indicators reported on the platform is at 57%. It is around 113 indicators are reported on the platform. We are in the process of finding data of 86 remaining indicators by using traditional methods and data science techniques where possible. As I said, 63% of our SDG data are from administrative sources. So keeping the platform updated even in the future, SDG data correction and data compilation was aligned with the statistical yearbook. It is updated every year. Use of national SDG reporting platform provides us an opportunity of collaborating with all stakeholders for promoting the use of statistics in evidence-based decision-making by reminding and encouraging them to report the progress made and make SDG data available. Framework of quality assurance for the Open SDG platform was developed, and a document that explained the process of updating and uploading SDG data on the platform has been prepared. SDG progress report showing reporting status by sectors developed. Next. National metadata is an opportunity element in better understanding how SDG indicators have been collected, processed, and disseminated. So as an achievement on this point, every year SDG national data and metadata collected and uploaded on the platform. National data converted into STMX and improved the timelines with fast access to data and metadata. Data structure definition customized based on national data for easy comparability of data. We don't have any challenge related to uploading any and updating SDG data and metadata into the platform. But more emphasis is emphasis and the training on STMX and data modeling are needed to manage with the platform. User engagement and data dissemination should be strengthened. Finally, we need to tailor our communication to meet the needs of wide SDG data users and employ different techniques to engage them in our SDG activities. Next. Thank you for having me here today.
Thank you so much, Jean-Luc, and thanks for sharing your experience. This is great. And I see we already have questions on the chat that will be taken later. Also, let me remind you, there is a link to the YouTube channel. The event is also being streamed there. So let me now go to the next speaker. Next speaker is from Kyrgyzstan, and this Nazira Kerimalieva is the head of the Sustainable Development and Environment Statistics Department at the National Statistical Committee of the Kyrgyz Republic. She will present also on topics including SDG monitoring tools, the role of data visualization, and she will talk about user engagement. So Nazira, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Francesca. Good morning, dear participants. I would like to share the achievements of Kyrgyzstan with building monitoring and reporting system within the UNSD FCDO project. In my presentation, I will just mention some achievements which we managed to get during last year, because the project's almost more than 3 years, and to be honest, we did a lot. So first, of course, I would like to emphasize that Kyrgyzstan implement a national SDG reporting platform, OpenSDG, where today we have more than 100 global indicators, more than 50 national indicators. Each indicator has metadata. Also in our platform, we have a section for publication and news. And also all the indicators and data for indicators available in different formats, as SDMX, CSV, and XML. Of course, every one of us knows that OpenSDG is a good platform for disseminating data, because it's allow us to present our data in set tables and in different and use different visualization. Here, I also want to add that last year we mostly work on data disaggregation, because in the first step, when we implement our platform, of course, we try to publish more data, but last year we focused more on data disaggregation and tried to find more disaggregated data, use more different resources, and publish them in all SDMX format. Also, I want to emphasize here that all data, global data, also published not only on our OpenSDG platform, but also we publish in UN SDG Data Lab. It's not first time for us. It's third, I think, time when we're publishing it. And I think here I can say that OpenSDG platform and disseminating data through the UN SDG Data Lab, it's like becoming sustainable for us, and it's becoming not only project work. Now it's our ordinary work, which we are doing every time and working on developing. Also, of course, every one of us understands that last year, like previous years, actually was quite complicated to work, especially with data users, because we didn't manage to have ordinary meetings and trainings, workshops, where we usually talk with our data users and try to explain them. So that's why we developed video guide, which is called How Find Statistics in SDG Statistics. So it's in this video includes two types of video. One is a short one, it's like 1 minute, and another one is more longer. These videos more talking about where you can find official statistic and SDG statistic, what kind of data is publishing in website, in also in OpenSDG platform. Also, some explanation what is the SDG and what is the OpenSDG. So also we mentioned in our video what services NSO can provide and what publication it produce. Why we prepare such kind of video? Because we had a lot of questions, and to be sustainable and to be more clear for our data users, we decided to make such kind of video. So it was very good, because even for us it was first time. And when we had some questions, we tried to not just explain by telephone where they can find video. We just sent the link and try to disseminate this video through the different resources to escape, in one case, the simple questions. Another work also which have done by NSO within the project is developing a statistical compendium which is called SDG Statistics. We also find such kind of new, I think, a new way how to publish data. So we decided to prepare this compendium in two ways. One is short and another one is full. In short, we have only infographics and graphs, as you can see in your screen. And in full version, of course, have more data. It's really huge because we disseminate all the national and global indicators. And also we disseminate the explanation of these indicators. So what does it mean, each indicator, and how the tendency change of these indicators during the time. Here on our slide, you can see some example how we did, and also for us it's first time because as a additional chapter we prepared chapter related to the influencing of COVID to the achieving SDG in Kyrgyz Republic. So within this chapter, we publish also indicators related to COVID situation and how the economic situation influence and change due to the COVID situation. Also, how many people was infected by COVID, and also thanks to our project in 2020, we managed to organize one very short survey, which is called Influencing COVID to the people, to the households in Kyrgyz Republic. So the results of this survey also disseminated in this statistical compendium. Before, of course, we published them, but it was in a simple way. But to give more attention, we do it in nicer way, and we already got some feedback from our users, and they are quite surprised from the data and of this statistical compendium. So we got good feedbacks. So also last year we organized some workshops. So here I will like to emphasize about one workshop which we do it with a journalist in using official statistical data. It was two-day workshop. The representatives of NSO, it's around 10 people from different sectors, and around 30 journalists go. We went to out of the city, and 2 days we were really close and tried to organize workshop where we try to just explain them and some information about statistics, and try to reply to the simple question as what is the statistics, what is the difference between official statistics and non-official statistics. Try to reply to the simple questions like what is the SDG, GDP, income level. Of course, we try to teach them how to read and use statistical data. And for example, we try to explain them the measures, which is very important when you're reading, and also we help them to find statistical data from different resources, as in national, regional, and global level, because usually journalists use different sources to prepare their materials. So that's why we offer them to use official data or use official websites where the data is already validated and have good quality. So, so what we got from them, of course, we spent 2 days for explaining them what is the statistics, and at the end, of course, we had like around more than 10 publications about statistics. The journalists, with the support of our sectoral representatives, prepared some articles where and they disseminated through the different sources, usually where they work, and of course they gave very good feedbacks, of course, and to be honestly, they gave not good feedbacks as well, because they have a lot of complaints about how the NSO works and how they disseminate data. They explain what they don't like or what they don't understand. So anyway, we get some contacts. It's good. And we got some understanding, because at the end, of course, they I think they understood that the statistics and producing official statistics is not simple way, and we tried to explain them why, and we of course to support them, and we provide them certificates about that they passed this workshop. And I think they were happy, and they are still continue to contact with us. Another work which we also did last year, sorry, it's about education models on SDG statistics. It's for statistic researchers and data users. It's way how we explain how to read statistics and SDG indicators. We give determination of the statistic, explain data sources on the national level, and method of calculation, how we calculate and compile these indicators, and give some example. Unfortunately, we didn't manage to do it workshop and present officially these education models, because the COVID situation again back not in good way. But anyway, to provide it in a good way, we are going to make trainings for data users and for some statistics, because we believe that these models is very good not only for data users, it's also for new statistician who comes to NSO. They also can learn more about statistics and indicators. Of course, we can understand the SDG. It's not like a small number of indicators, is quite a range, and it's include also economic indicators, social demographics. So that's why it's like good material to get some knowledge about statistics. So and also, in addition, we work on UNESCAP SDG Tracker tool. We are planning that it's. We believe that it's good tool not only for statisticians, it's more for policy users, because within this work we closely work with ministers and agencies, because exactly they determined target values for each indicators. So we explained, of course, we had one workshop before, and we explained that this tool good and it allows to show how we manage to achieve targets of SDG, goals as well, and this tool good to show where we have gaps and where we have some progress or regress. So we're almost done with this work. We're also planning to, in March probably, or at the end of February, planning to make a quite big event where we are planning to show the first results of this tool and discuss with the policies our achievements in SDG. So that's all. Thank you for your attention. I really tried to be short and clear. Hope it was clear for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nazira. It was definitely very clear and very, very interesting presentation. Thanks so much for sharing your experience. Our fourth country from the project to present and share their experience is Bangladesh. And we have with us Alamgir Hossain, who's the Deputy Director of Data Management, also focal point officer of the SDG cell at the Bangladesh Bureau of Statistics. And he will talk about how Bangladesh Statistics Bureau has been using innovative methods and data sources with the aim of developing more regular, more timely, and disaggregated estimates of poverty. So in the context of SDG monitoring. So Alamgir, you have the floor. Over to you. Thank you.
Everyone? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you well.
Okay, thank you. So thank you and giving me the floor for sharing the experiences of Bangladesh, especially which has implemented Bangladesh. I will focus on an experiment which has been implemented in Bangladesh recent time for poverty estimation through the smaller estimation techniques. But before going to the particular activities, I would like to focus the activities or components which have been implemented in Bangladesh. Our journey was started in 2019, and our first activities in Bangladesh was we have implemented the open data workshop here in Bangladesh in presence of the colleagues from the SD, and we have also here today's moderator Francesca herself, along with the other colleagues here and dear colleagues from government system, statistical system, joined the workshop to learn about the open data issues and how the interoperability can be ensured here. Besides, we have also implemented activities including the workshops on the user engagement, and also we have conducted the training on the data literacy. Our main objective was to engage the policy level data users as well, even the private sector society in the process, so that they are more aware of data issues and also how the data can be available in the system. They can learn about it. We have also conducted data literacy training in the subnational level with the support of the UNSDF project, and we got a good number of participants, different government, NGOs, the civil society, journalists, and so on. So participants, they are the session, a long session, very interactive and user-friendly. Even they have showed their curiosity to expand. They are not. They are very happy, but they are not satisfied. They request to extend that such type of activities not only in the areas of Bangladesh, but also in the subnational level, so that all the data users can be more engaged efficiently to use the data. One of our important component was to introducing the statistical data and metadata exchange platform, and how we can apply the SDMX in Bangladesh for managing the SDG data through the SDG track system. How it will interoperate. But we have provided such type of training and conducted workshops on it. You'll be happy to know that under these activities, we have already compiled the national SDMX, the national metadata for the available SDG indicators under this project. However, you know that though we have an SDG data calendar here in Bangladesh, but due to the COVID effect, few of the data generation activities was hampered, And under this project, we have updated the SDG data, aligning not only with the COVID effect, but also the international reporting times. And also, we have tried to align it with the revised and refinement indicator and the revised sources of data at the national level. One of our component was the national SDG metadata, and I have already mentioned about that. We have developed the available SDG metadata template for the national metadata, and recently we have planned and started following the earlier activities from our government support to develop the priority indicators and focused indicators which are being implemented in the national level to addressing leave none behind for the SDG localization in the subnational level. You'll be happy to know that on which I will focus today, especially the last activities we have been supported from this UNSD FC2 project on SDG monitoring. That is the smaller estimation of poverty through non-conventional data. It was really an amazing initiative under this project, and I would like to share that particular activities with you, so that, and finally, I will share some challenges and the way forward we are expecting for under this project. So now I will focus on the last component, which is actually use of the smaller estimation. So before going to the component, we have identified that in Bangladesh, actually, we are generating poverty data, especially SDG 1, the poverty elimination data, through the direct estimation from the conventional surveys. But you know that through the survey, the subnational level data or district level data is not possible, and high frequent data is not available from the survey, because the household income and expenditure survey is highly costly and also the time consuming. So from the policy level, there is an increasing demand of the high frequent poverty data as well as the subnational level poverty data. So though we have some activities, especially using the smaller estimation through the ELL method, that is the known as the World Bank method, Elbert, Lenju and Lenju method, generally followed by the World Bank. But we updated those smaller estimations through the poverty survey, that is the household income and expenditure survey, which are being conducted in every 5 years in Bangladesh. But that doesn't confirm the high frequency of data generation. We also provide the national level poverty days, which are actually growth elasticity based, but it only provides the national level poverty days calculated indirectly. That cannot always satisfy the policymakers, because they always request the subnational level poverty rates, especially during the COVID period. The policy level highly focused on the high frequency data at the subnational level, and they have so based on these issues or the context, we have identified that we need to think of some innovative approaches how we can address this demand of the subnational level data from the smaller estimation, and we can generate the high frequent data from here. For this, at the national level, we have composed a working team considering the government departments, ministries who are engaged in using or generating different innovative approach data. Especially in this team, you can see here, along with the National Statistics Office, we had the General Economics Division of Planning Commission, and the Finance Division, the Bangladesh Bank, the Central Bank of Bangladesh, the Bangladesh Telecommunication Regulatory Commission, It is the telecommunication regulatory body here in Bangladesh, and the Aspire to Innovate, that is A2I program of ICT division, Statistics and Informatics division, Prime Minister Office, and also we have incorporated the United Nations Resident Coordinator Office here in Dhaka. So it was a good team to work on the particular issues. You can see here one picture from the particular exercise under this component held in last December. The principal coordinator of SDGs here in Bangladesh, and also the Secretary Statistics and Information Division, and the DG BBS and the UNRC office representative here. Our main objective of this exercise was to develop a particular model for the, using the smaller estimation using the non-conventional data for particularly the year of 2016, because we wanted to compare it with the last household income and expenditure survey, which was conducted in 2016. So our next objective was to compare those and aligning it with the direct and indirect estimation in between. If this is found significant, then based on the same model, we will replicate it for the 2021 using the non-conventional data, the smallest area estimation, and finally to build a capacity building estimation of poverty using non-conventional data, including the special data, so that in future we shouldn't depend on the direct estimation through survey only, so that we can provide national data to the policymakers with a high frequent manner. So under this component, we have conducted 2 workshops. The first workshop was actually focused on the theoretical issues and the practices all across the world. And second workshop was the hands-on training and exercise for developing the model. So now I will share the second workshop issues. You can see here that for this particular exercise, we have used 3 platforms. One is the Google Earth Engine. Our main focus was to use the open data here. So Google Earth Engine was one of our platforms. Then we have used the Geographic Information System, especially the ArcGIS. And we have used the programming language, that is R Studio. That was our actually the program. And for this exercise, we have used the data, the non-conventional data, that was the nighttime light data from the raster cluster, and also the Google Earth Engine data. For vector data, we have used the road networks from the local government engineering department, as well as the road and highways department ministry in Bangladesh. We have also taken the educational institution data, the point data, and also we have used those data, processed those data through the ArcMap. We also used few conventional data, likely the agriculture crop production data, and recently we have practiced the weather data, the historical weather data in the model, and we have processed those data using the RStudio. Here I have shown the nighttime data, nighttime light data, how we have extracted those from the Google Earth Engine. You can see here the nighttime data which has been converted finally. Here you can see the GIS data extraction process. So from the road network, we have also imported the, we have learned about the major road data, how to handle those data through the ArcGIS software, and how it can be converted into the vector data, how we converted the vector data to raster data, especially to identify the road density. And also we have learned how to export district or subnational level data, road density data, into the attribute data or Excel format. From these particular data sources, our main objective was to identify the 6 types of statistics: the count, sum, minimum, maximum, and mean and standard deviation, against the light intensity and other non-conventional data. After that, we have developed the model through the RStudio, And we have identified that the model we have developed that was not enough for us, and we have planned and identified few other data sources which should be accessed. And from our team work, we have identified few of them and what would be the sources and at what level the data can be collected. We have addressed those, and we are working with the data sources. In the meantime, we have already got access from few of the data. We hope we will get a good chunk of the data sources, and our model will be more significant and effective to estimate the high frequent poverty estimates. We have actually used the EBP model of a smaller estimation, and here actually we have the 2 or 3 stages. The first one, I have already shared about that. We have used the remote sensing data. From that, we have used the multiple variables, and we have used the auxiliary and conventional data uh, to using those to fit the model more effective and more significant. And finally, from the both process, we have identified our objective is to identify the robust, checking the robustness, and finalize the selected the variable selection. And based on the EBP model, finally we have selected the smaller estimation under this EBP model and direct estimation of the poverty, and we will compare those. Finally, we will estimate the poverty of 2021 so that in future uh, we can provide annual or more frequent data for poverty estimation. I have shown here the expected outcome of the particular component. So this component is actually unfinished component or unfinished agenda from our side. Hope we are still working on it. We hope we will get more support from the UN system and we can complete the process. So at this point, I will share some challenges and limitations we have faced to implement the UNSDF-C2 project on SDG monitoring and our recommendations, what would be done in the near future to make this such type of project more effective. So I have already mentioned that due to the COVID-19, some of our component was hampered in implementation. So because we could not conduct some face-to-face training or hands-on training here, so we had to conduct those virtually. So I hope if the COVID situation was not prevailing here, those are more effective. Another challenge was to build the capacity issues due to the resource limitations. We could not address some of the issues which should be more focused in the future. And we, especially if I see for the time limitations, we could not complete the activities I have presented here. Lastly, I will say that the data user engagement was the one of the very good and well club component here, because whenever we try to engage the users, they have shown very high interest, very high level of interest to engage them to understand the data and building their capacity to interpret the data, use the data, and how to present the data. It was really very wonderful initiative under this project. So our suggestion would be to continue such type of support, especially the unfinished components, which need more supports by the UNSD. Otherwise, the ultimate objective will not be achieved. So to make it sustainable, I would request to continue such type of project in future, so that the country level experience, country level capacity building will be sustainable. And few areas which should be addressed have some linkages with the other components need to be addressed. If I say that we have conducted the DSD platform training virtually, but we have identified from the users and the trainees that should be that should be hands-on training, and if you can manage the resource persons in body available here in Bangladesh, it will be very helpful for us. Even if the resource person can be, or the TOT can be trained internationally, and then whenever they come here, we can use their capacity for our national capacity buildings. Finally,
Alamgir, sorry, yeah, just if you can wrap up, thank you. That would be great. Thanks.
thank you. That's the final from my side. I hope everything is addressed here. Thank you again.
Thank you so much. I know you have a lot to share, and it's great. I hope you have a chance also through the Q&A session to provide more details. But we're running out of time. We have one more presentation, and thanks again for sharing your experience, Alamgir. We have one more presentation from Daniel Chetier from our own statistics division, who will talk about the resources that have been developed through the project that can be shared, and all the resources and tools developed through the activities. Daniel, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Francesca. My presentation will be relatively short, just showing where resources are available. You've seen now from the past 4 countries speaking their experiences in different areas of the project. But there is more. There are more, 15, 16 countries who are already in this project who haven't shared a few things. But what we decided to do is, from the onset of the project, to kind of create a project kind of based website where we can share all the resources that we have. So just to give you a highlight, hopefully you've been to this website. If you have not, please go ahead and look at it. And we have specific areas on countries where you can see project activities along the 4 main pillars of the project on metadata development, user engagement, coordination, and of course platform related activities. We also conduct several activities in country activities since the project started. We paused that when COVID hit, so we were the last to stop our country missions, but all things transformed into virtual environment. We were able to sustain most of our outputs because of that. So under activities, you will see all these engagements, and then the meeting section where you will see all the meetings that we have conducted, especially after it went into virtual. Most of the resources are available there, so you can go ahead and look at this. And this meeting would be also one of our resources to be shared for a wider audience. We also have a resource section where we have specific toolkits required for SDG. As you know, UNSD is a global secretariat for the global SDG database, and we produce SDG report annually, with the most famous GLOSY report being distributed around June-July timeline with the high-level political forum. That product and related resources are available. If you go through that menu, you'll see more resources there. Next, please. Next slide. Yes. Just to highlight one key outcome, as you've seen Kyrgyzstan's presentation, there is this visualization toolkit that was developed by the project that gives you a load of ready-made templates that you can use for your SDG report purposes. And we have a lot of icons, over 300 icons that you can use in different formats on your website, reports, brochures, or flyers. And these are also accessible in different graphics formats. And for those who don't really have design software like Illustrator or InDesign, you can also use your Microsoft Office products like PowerPoint and Word formats. We have a template down there that you can also incorporate. So this brings the data product to give it, a visual look that can capture more audience. It's very effective for sharing news templates for journalists or for a wider media outreach. So for your communication use, this is an area where you could take a look. Next slide, please. These are the samples of the template. You see different formats here, whether it's a report or a brief or simply an icon or a poster you want to present. You can use all these resources. And all the data, the assets in graphic formats are available. So anyone with some sort of graphic usage can use this in a very effective manner. Next, please. So the other area where we'll be focusing this year, this is our transition year and concluding a project, is putting most of these resources in kind of e-learning format. So we have already done one e-learning course on metadata, which has been used by our member states. Our ESCAP colleagues have been also conducting training using this e-learning platform. That's self-paced and users can log in, do their own training on their own time. We're also planning to add more to it, one on user engagement, and the other one is on SDMX and data modeling. We're working with Asian Development Bank also to expand this SDMX and data modeling course to cover more areas. That is the benefit of working with partners. We can contribute our experience on the SDG part of things, but there are other areas that you can use this standard for, be it in the national accounts or trade or demography. So all those things come in place. So working with partners would always make things much better for the project, also for UNSD. So we are open for collaboration with other regional commissions at the UN, and also other partners who are interested in working with us. So we're trying to build this further in the coming year. Next slide, please. The other thing we've been working during COVID time is trying to put these mini videos, which is 10 minutes short, to just elaborate a specific tool. For example, here, we're using, you've heard that everybody's talking about metadata and metadata template. How do you use those metadata templates? How do you convert the metadata into a machine readable format using an SDMX standard? And these are areas where we do engage when we're doing workshops, but some of them are very technical, so it's easier to kind of put together a small video that kind of shows you how to do this and how to do that in this area. And we've been doing a few of them in our workshops, so we're also publishing them on our website. We'll be trying to do more of this in the coming months, which also will be, some of them will be incorporated in our e-learning platform too. The last slide, please, next one. It's not only us, so that's one of the highlights of the project. Is it's not only us providing content. Countries who've been in the project, as you've seen them, are more engaged, and they are also sharing their capacity, their experience to other countries. We also have expert working groups that we draw from, and countries like Rwanda, Kyrgyzstan have been in this, for example, the working group on SDMX, who've been contributing a lot on the development of products for the global community. So the work at the national level we did is also some coming back to us and being part of this global community to further develop the standard. And this is really an excellent outcome of the project, where countries are now contributing to the global community, not only taking resources, but through their work, through their collaboration, are also showcasing their case to the global community. So these are areas where we would like participants to look through. The website is available, the link is there. So that's from my side, Francesca. I'll try to save some time back to you and for the Q&A.
Thank you so much, Daniel. And I just like to remind all colleagues, I see there are a lot of questions still on the chat about where to find the material. All the presentations shared today are available. If you scroll down, you'll see the link. And also the streaming is on YouTube of this, and the recorded of this also, we have a link for that. So please just scroll through the chat and you'll find all the links. And now it's my great pleasure to pass it on to Ian Cody, who's the lead of the project from FCDO side to moderate the Q&A session. Ian, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Francesca. Yeah, so there's been lots and lots of great questions coming into the chat, and thanks to the program team who've been responding to those questions and answering them as we go through. I think given the time that we've got, I might take a bit of a chair's prerogative and ask a couple of questions myself to the presenters. And obviously, if there are other things that people want to ask, then maybe the UN team can respond to those within the chat. I think actually a lot of the questions I had, and I had a lot myself, were things that were coming up repeatedly in the chat anyway. So hopefully there's a sort of relevancy there. So I think maybe I'll start by asking the 4 presenters. What steps are you taking? You know, there's been some fantastic work in terms of getting these SDG reporting platforms up and running, but what steps are you now taking to embed that data into decision making on actually meeting the SDGs? So moving from monitoring and reporting the SDGs to actually achieving them. How are you working with sort of ministerial departments to influence them on decision making? And I think linked to that and that question of sort of sustainability of the program, have you thought about what kind of resources are going to be needed within your country to support and sustain these SDG reporting platforms? And again, what steps are you taking to help mobilize those resources? So I'll I think probably ask the presenters in the same order that they presented. So starting with Mozambique, yeah, if you could talk a little bit about embedding it into decision making and mobilizing the resources to support it, please. We lost Mozambique from the call.
Marta, are you there?
Yeah, I don't see Marta.
Fine. Okay. In which case, let's move on to Rwanda then, and maybe the same question to you. And given the time, if we can kind of keep things nice and short and concise, that would be great.
Thank you so much, Ian, for the question. Actually, the platform helps us as a country to show the decision makers what is the progress to achieve the SDGs by showing the status of reporting. The objective is to report as much indicators as possible, but we have also to think about, even if indicators are reported, what kind of data are reporting? And another thing here I can say is the platform is now available from this project, and there is some also capacity just to manage the platform and availing metadata. But the big problem we have is to find the data. So the resources should be addressed to help the NSOs and other stakeholders like ministries and institutions just to combine the effort to produce the remaining indicators, which is not yet reported. Thank you.
Thank you. I think, again, given the time and the number of questions I have, maybe I'll ask a slightly different question to Kyrgyzstan. I mean, you talked in your presentation about the impact of COVID-19 on the capacity building work and not being able to kind of necessarily get to where you wanted because of the COVID restrictions. I just wondered, I mean, has the COVID-19 pandemic changed your thinking in any way around the way in which you report statistics? And you know, is there anything that you're now going to do differently because of the COVID-19 pandemic?
Thank you for your question. I think definitely the COVID influenced the statistician fully, because we changed the way how we collect data and how we disseminate data, because we to be honestly, because of the pandemic situation, we start to disseminate more data because the request was more. And I think the people and users actually always understand that COVID can influence to the social and economic situation in the country, and through the only data we can see these changes. Within the OpenSDG platform, I think I can say definitely it's a sustainable platform. Why? Because it's part of our dissemination system. Because it's not exist separately, it exists as a part of our official website and our official platform of official. And so in this case, we provide we must all the time update data and provide the data through the OpenSDG platform. And also about your question regarding the with the policies, how we work with the ministries and agencies. Metadata, it's really, to be honest, it's very good way how we can make our conversation more easier, because sometimes when we cannot explain how we calculate this data, we just ask them first to visit our websites, go through the metadata and see how they understand, and then come back with the concrete questions. So in this case, also to improve the responsibility of administrative sources, in our metadata we put their contacts and name. So it's just another way how we communicate with our policies and administrative sources as well, because I think metadata is in one case it helps us improve data quality. In other case, it's improve the responsibility of the producer of the data. So also to provide sustainability, we are planning to implement data warehouse for OpenSDG. So it's we are planning to with .stat. So I think this implementation of the .stat, it also will help. Just last points. We really, to be honest, we make a lot of efforts to make awareness, to give awareness to OpenSDG platform inside of the country, and I think not provide sustainability for our platform, it's not good way, because too many offers already done. So we should continue this work. And already I know a lot of users who, even one time we never sometimes we forgot update some data, they call me directly and ask where is the data. So I think in this case we must continue and provide sustainability for our platform.
Thank you. And finally, for Bangladesh, obviously you were showcasing a lot of work around the kind of use of night lights. So I guess a question really around kind of coordination across the national statistical system and being able to pull in data from other sources. What kind of data sharing agreements did you need to put in place, and how are you ensuring that those are sustainable so that those flows of data can continue to come into your work?
Thank you for the important question. You'll be happy to know that in Bangladesh, there is a very good arrangement of the data sharing here. For the SDG data share, we have the SDG tracker system, that is the national portal of SDGs. So under this, on this portal, all the data providing agencies have their own user ID and password, and they have been changed up to provide data using their own authenticated password. And after sharing the data in the system that are not being public, that data are authenticated by the National Statistics Office before publishing it in the system, opening it to the system. We have the National Data Coordination Committee. This committee have the core role in coordination of the National Statistical System, especially for the SDG data. It is headed by the Secretary Statistics and Informatics Division, and about 55 members from the different ministry, the civil society, the private sector, the academia, and the key stakeholders of the National Statistics of that particular coordination committee. And in BBS, that is in the NSO, according to the Statistics Act 2013, all the data generating agencies in the government system are bound to share their data in their custody with the National Statistics Office. So it adds a very good opportunity for the National Statistics Office to coordinate to available the SDG data, to make available of the SDG data in the National Statistical System. And all the data generating agencies and data providers are very aware of the data generation and sharing with the National Statistics Office. And the whole of the government system, the private sector are very clearly aware about the use of the official statistics, and that should be authenticated by the National Statistics Office, are mandated by the Statistics Act 2013 here in Bangladesh. So the Statistics Act has a good role or good influence all over the National Statistical System for data coordination mechanism by the National Statistics Office. So we are getting very good responses from the different agencies working in the National Statistical System. Thank you.
Fantastic, thank you. So I'm afraid, given the time, we're going to have to draw things to a close there, and I'll hand back to Francesca in a minute. But I hope, you know, if we were meeting in person, we'd have a chance to dig into these questions in a lot more detail and sit down and have a bit of lunch. So hopefully, you know, we can pick up questions in the chat this time, but this time next year we can actually get together in person and talk some of this through. So with that, I'll hand back to Francesca, but thanks all for your contributions and for your questions.
Thank you so much, Ian, and I agree. It would have been great to be there in person and continue this conversation. There are lots of questions in the chat, and I hope we can also have email exchanges with some of the different colleagues from countries to share and continue this conversation and share their experience. I think it's clear that there is a very strong national ownership of the whole process of SDG monitoring, and we can see that all the work to improve the availability and accessibility of SDG data has been prioritized by NSOs, and they have established strong coordination mechanisms within the whole national statistical systems, all the parts of the system, and different partners. And this has become sort of regular part of their work, which is necessary to ensure that once the project is finished, you know, this is sustainable and continuous. We've seen how strong partnerships are key to really ensure progress. And of course, NSOs cannot do this alone, and they have good partnerships, including for the implementation, the use of new innovative data sources and innovative tools. And we've seen, of course, how important engaging with users is. And all countries have developed very, very good approaches and strategies to engage with users. So that's one key aspect of the project and one key aspect of the work that will be continued. So I encourage you all to follow what we have on our website in terms of progress made by countries and also tools and resources that are available. Now, unfortunately, we are completely out of time. I'd just like to thank the speakers again, Marta, Jean-Luc, Nazira, Alamgir, and of course, our very own colleagues, Richard and Daniel, for sharing their experiences and for providing the overview of the project and sharing the tools and resources. But I would like to remind you that these are 4 countries who share their fantastic achievements, but we have many more countries who've been engaged and collaborating with us on this project, and they've done fantastic work. So again, you know, you can find some of the information on that on the website. They've done work on very similarly to what we heard today on the compilation and dissemination of SDG data and metadata. So congratulations to all of them. And also, of course, many, many thanks to Ian Cody for moderating the Q&A session, but also for all the work he's been doing over this last few years himself and all the other FCDO colleagues to support us in the project. So you all have a great day. Thank you so much for being with us. And we look forward to continuing this conversation. Thank you so much, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye, everyone.